everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kyrielle. What are we thinking about this eye look? This is what we're doing today. I do love a pink eye look, I'm not gonna lie. Pink and purple, some kind of gold thrown in is gorgeous. So as soon as I saw this palette, I knew I had to have it. There was no question about it. Today we're going to be playing around with the brand new Beautybay New Romance palette. This is the outer packaging, this is the box. I love the design. It's so pretty, but this is the actual goods by here. So this is a new palette. This launched on Beautybay a few days ago, I think like Monday or something. It's £15, which is their standard price for an eyeshadow palette, and it's only available on Beautybay exclusively. I love, again, the packaging. Like, this just calls to my soul. Like, pastel pink. It's just, I mean, you guys know how I feel about pastels, but this is just mwah, perfection. So I use this to create this look right here, obviously. I'm going to show you guys how I did it. We're going to discuss the formula. Obviously, I'll show you how it all applies. I used quite a few shades in this today. I tried to use as many as possible, try the different formulas in the palette. I am also hoping to do maybe 2 looks with this palette in a future video. So if you're new and just now coming across my channel, make sure you subscribe so you get notified of future uploads. You can just hit the red subscribe button and the bell button, and that'll notify you when I upload next. Yeah, I am also going to do swatches, so we'll get straight into those and then we'll get into the eye look. I hope you guys enjoy. See you in a second. Alright, let's quickly do some swatches. So the first shade is Vanilla. Obviously that's very fair. Then we have Birthday. I'm not trying to make these look good, I'm literally doing one dip, one swatch. Then we have the shade Oyster. Ooh. Wow, look at that. Then we have Flamingo. And then Lingerie. It's a little bit crumbly by the looks of it. But that's the first row, one dip. Let me just try and build this up so you guys can see it a little bit better. There you go, so it's built up a little bit there. But yeah, that's the first row. Alright, second row we have a Milkshake, Chintz, and Claret, Queen, and Smoothie. Oh, that felt really soft. Is it me, or do all these shades look very similar, like especially these final 3? That's the second row. Excuse the redness on my arm. I can't work out if that's staining from the eyeshadow or just me scrubbing it clean. Then we have the third row. This is the shade Penny. Ugh, that is just so pretty. Then the shade Embers. I love that name. It's another really smooth one. And then we have the shade Raspberry. Wow. And then we have the shade Mars. Ooh, that one's super buttery. And then the shade Royal. We have some different finishes in here, shimmers and stuff. Okay. Alright, in the third and final row we have Muffin, Khaki or Khaki, Saddle. Then we have Valentine. Oh, that's a bit crumbly, but a really pretty shade. And then the shade Ink. Okay, and that is all the shades in the palette. Alright, so this is the look we're doing today. It's a, I don't know, shimmery, cut creasy, smoky linery look. It's got all of the things. So I'm first of all starting with the PLOUISE cut crease canvas, and I'm just gonna carve out the brow, and then I'm gonna blend it down and buff it out. And I'm just blending it down to the crease. I'm not bringing it onto the lid yet because we're gonna be carving it out, so there's no point adding more product there. Now let's get into this palette, shall we? Now I will admit I have already done a look with this, but I just didn't like it in the end. But that was because of the look itself, not the palette. So I have already dipped in once. The first shade I'm going into is the shade Milkshake, and I'm just going to start creating our shape ready before we deepen it up. I'm keeping the colour above my crease so we have lots of room to add different colours in. This mirror has one of these peeler things, so let's do it together. Do get quite a bit of kick up in the pan. Obviously it's very pigmented, so that doesn't really bother me. Now I'm going in with the shade Flamingo, and I'm just going to blend above that. I'm using these little pencil brushes to make sure that I don't go too high up and blend the colour too far, even though this is very high up already. So those two blend seamlessly together. I'm now going to go into the shade Birthday, which this one is a little bit harder pressed than the others. Not sure why, but it is. And I'm taking a little bit of a fluffier brush and I'm just going to blend over these edges and kind of bring it like into the nose a little bit. This shade in particular is very much just a wash of colour. There's barely any pigmentation to it. I mean, I get it, it's a light shade, but I was expecting a little bit more from it, I'm not gonna lie. It does help blend these shades though, so I'm not too mad. I don't know how it's gonna play as a shade just standalone though, that's the only thing. I guess it is more of a pastel, so maybe if you were to use a white it would be better. Now just to add a little bit of depth, I'm going in with the shade Claret, which is a beautiful deep raspberry shade, and I'm just going to use this brush to kind of feather the colour on. I'm not going in too harsh or anything, I just want to create some depth to this colour. To do this I'm going in slightly lower where I originally placed the first colour, so you get more of a blend and not the harsh pigment. And then I'm going in with the initial brush we used and just buffing over the darker edges to blend it all together. To make sure I'm even on both eyes, I'm just going to relax and see where the darker shade is, and then if I have to go in, I'll go in and add more, and I'll do this with my eyes open. They do really blend into each other super easily. I've had zero problems. Now I'm going to cut the crease and try and make my eyes even. Wish me luck. I'm going to do this with a Q-tip and some micellar water. Okay, now that is on there, I'm going to cut the crease with some more blank canvas, and then we'll play with some of the shimmers. Again, I haven't brought it down too far because we're just doing a tiny slither, as you can see, and again blend this out. Alright, now some of these shimmers are different formulas, so you've got more of the traditional kind of metallic, and then you've got others that kind of have like micro glitter in them. Sorry, I just opened my window because it was really warm in here, so if you can hear birds, that's why. So the first shimmer I'm going to go into is Raspberry, which is a gorgeous shade, and I'm just going to pop this in the center of the lid. This shimmer formula is kind of hard to work with. I don't know what's different about it to the Book of Magic palette, because that palette is really good. This one just does not pick up on the brush that well. I'll try it wet, see if that helps it, because like it is there, but it's just a little bit translucent, if that makes sense. There we go, it's a little bit better when it is dampened, but still doesn't really pack the punch as it does in the palette there, you know? I don't know. Layered, it looks okay. Now I'm going in with the shade Royal. I'm going to try this one dry as well. See, they're just a little bit dull, aren't they? And I'm just comparing this to the normal kind of Beautybay shimmers, you know? They're just not quite up there. Just gonna blend these two together. And then just to deepen up the outer corners a little bit, I'm going to go in with the shade Valentine, just to make it a little bit deeper and darker. See, the Valentine shade is a lot creamier and easier to apply than the other shimmers that I just showed you. Not quite sure why that is, but anyway, I'm going to cut the crease again, leaving just a little slither of the shimmer coming through. Now that's on there, I'm going to cut the crease again, you guessed it. But this time bring it all the way down to the lid, and we're going to do the lid colours. Alright, lid colours. Let's get into some more shimmers. The first one I'm going into is the shade Oyster. This one is pretty crumbly. I'm finding that the consistency is a little bit off in this palette, I'm not gonna lie. This one picks up on the brush really well. I'm just gonna apply this to the inner corner. See, this one doesn't require any setting spray, it just applies really well. And I'm confused, Beautybay, what's going on? Oh, I don't know if you guys can see, there's like a plane going overhead or something. It's very loud. I'm bringing this on an angle because that's the kind of shape I went with over here, and I'm taking this right into the inner corner as well. Okay, so yeah, that one's really nice. Again, I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but it's such a pretty yellowy white shade. It's almost like the inside of a banana. Almost beigey sheen. It's very pretty. Now I'm going to take the shade Penny. Now this one, pretty much have to use it with your finger. It's one of those more putty shades. I tried my hardest to use it with the brush, but inevitably it works better with the finger. This has slight micro glitter in it, which is really pretty. It's like a gold colour, but I'm just going to pack that on the lid. Again, it's just a gorgeous shade. I just wish it worked with a brush so I could get right up to the cut crease, you know? Blend it in with the gold shade. Yeah, this one has tiny little micro glitter in it. Obviously I'll do a close-up of the actual look in the end, but just to kind of show you. This one's probably one of my favourite shades out of the palette. I just wish it was easier to use. Then for the outer corner, I'm taking the shade Queen, and this is more of a drier formula. Again, it's just a bit of a weird one. And I'm just going to place this on the outer corner. I can't remember if I applied this with a brush or not. I think I might have used my finger for this one as well, but it is applying with the brush. Not that well. Let me just try my finger again. Again, this one feels like it's almost hard panned. It's, I don't know. It does pick up pigment though. It's a pretty shade. Okay, yeah, this one works better with the finger again. That one is a very beautiful raspberry shade. I'm not worried about this by here because I'll just clean it up later. Sorry guys, my camera died. But I just tapped over a little bit of Penny to blend in those two colours together. I know I've been doing a lot of putting on, taking off and stuff, but I'm just going to do it one more time. Just roughly this time because we're doing this smoky liner situation. So I'm just going to take my Q-tip and I actually joined this liner up with the outer corner. So I'm just bringing it down from there and across the lid. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just find it helps me create the shape that I want. I'm not going in with any additional product, but I'm just gonna take my brush that I use the PLOUISE base on and just add a little something something. Alright, so now for the smoky liner, I'm going in with the shade Claret again, and I'm just gonna start creating my shape. Once I've got that shape on, I'm just gonna take the excess off the brush and just kind of blend it slightly. Alright, now I'm going in with the shade Ink, which is the black. This is very powdery, so just a word of warning, but it is very pigmented. I tap off a lot of the excess and I'm just going to really hug this into the lashes and start to smoke this out a little. And then once again, just cleaning off my brush and blending. Just gonna go back in with the Claret shade and just bring that back in a little bit more. I'm gonna line it up with the lower lash line. I do feel like I've lost a little bit of the definition out here, so I'm gonna go back in with the shades Valentine and Queen and just deepen up the outer corner. I think I might have just removed it with the micellar water, so I'm just gonna quickly clean that up. Okay, so that is pretty much it for this eye look on top. I'm just gonna do the lower lash line because for some reason I did this without doing my base first, so we might as well do this together. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of the PLOUISE base right up towards my lower lashes. I do not want to apply too much of this because it's quite drying. My poor under eyes will die otherwise. Alright, so to start this, I went in with the shade Claret again. Just joining my outer corner and bringing it in about a third of the way. Tapering it to about where my iris begins. I don't even know if that is the iris. I could be talking a lot of shit. Where the colour of my eye begins. And then I'm taking the shade Milkshake again. I'm kind of doing what I did right on the top of the cut crease on the lower lash line. Taking Flamingo and then a touch of Birthday right on the inner corner. Just to do like a final blend, I'm taking the shade Smoothie and I'm just gonna kind of run it along all of the shades here. I just kind of sweeped it over lightly. Probably gonna have to do this again when I put on my concealer, but it's fine. And that is it for the eyeshadow. I'm now going to add some eyeliner. I'm using the ones by Beautybay again. I'm using the shade Coffee on my tight line and then the shade Aura on the lower lash line, which is this pretty purple. I think it goes really well with the look. Once I've done that, I'm just going to pop on some mascara. I'm using the Falsies Lash Lift by Maybelline. And then I'm going to decide on some falsies. I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to use, but I'll update you. I'll go do my base and everything like that, and then we'll discuss my thoughts on this palette, because I do have some. I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay guys, let's talk about this palette. I would say the mattes are amazing. They're pigmented, very blendable, like they almost blend themselves. And the color selection works very well together. It's very unison. It is a beautiful color story. However, there are some inconsistencies throughout the palette itself. So for example, some of the mattes are really powdery and kick-uppy, and then others like have no kick-up. Like the shade Birthday, it feels creamy and pigmented, but when I've tried to put it on my eye, it hasn't really shown up that well. I think I'm gonna do a video where I do 2 looks with this palette and see if that works as just like a shade packed onto the lid. As a blend-in shade, it worked, but you couldn't tell if it was coming or going. You couldn't really tell if it was going on the skin or not. I couldn't really tell if it was this or if it was the shade Flamingo, just blending by itself. But overall, I'd say the mattes performed the best and they were like a dream to use, really. However, the shimmers is where I have a problem. It seems there's a little bit of inconsistency with these as well. So you've got some that are quite hard pressed and then others that are more creamy texture. This Queen shade, it feels like very hard and it kind of looks like it's cracking in the pan. I'll do a close-up so you guys can see. It's a bit of a weird texture. And then you have Valentine, which feels super creamy, and that one actually is like a tiny bit crumbly if I'm honest. And then you have the shade Penny, which literally feels wet. So they're just a bit inconsistent. The shades are really nice, but the way they apply on the lid, it takes a little bit of a learning curve, I guess. And this shade here, Chintz, feels even wetter. Like I can't describe. There just seems to be like differences all throughout the palette. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, I guess if they work, but it's just a bit odd to me. Obviously I created this look, so I made it work and I do really like the way it's come out. You know, I was able to layer, put some standout shimmers on my lid. Like the look is very pretty in my opinion. I love these tones. But I do find myself thinking I wasn't as blown away as this as I was the Book of Magic palette. That palette is special. This one, I don't feel like it is as much. I'm just not as blown away, and I don't know. Considering the price, it is a decent palette, especially for the price you pay. You know, you get 20 eyeshadows in here for £15, so it's less than £1 an eyeshadow, so it's not that bad. And obviously I haven't used every single shade in here, so I can't talk for the other shades, but the ones that I've used today, there was just a little bit off with them. Also, these tones are seen in so many other different palettes that are potentially better than this. Like actually looking at this color story, it's been done quite a few times. It reminds me of the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette, the Sample Beauty palette, the H Cosmetics. Like there's so many that have done this color story, which I guess it's only natural for Beautybay to want to add it to their collection. Although Beautybay's formula for the shimmers typically outshine others. So that's why I'm always intrigued by their palette, especially these like creamy shades, like the Penny shade. I love that. However, I just think it kind of missed the like Beautybay standard that has been there. So yeah, I'm a little bit half and half on this one. I like certain aspects, don't like others, but I'll still use it. I'll still play with it a little bit more. As I said, I might do a video doing 2 more looks with this. Please let me know if you like that. Leave a thumbs up on the video so I know. Oh, also, I just wanted to mention as well, obviously I've done my base and everything like that. I cleared up fallout. I've still got glitter particles on my face which weren't there after I did my base, so I feel like some of the shimmer from the Penny shade is actually dropping down as I wear it. I've had this on for a few hours now, say 2 hours, so there's that as well with the shimmers. I think if I was to use like a glitter glue, that would probably solve that issue, but I've never had fallout from shimmers like this with a creaminess to it, so that's a bit different for me. Yeah, so as a first impressions, I'm a bit meh. I don't fully dislike it. I'm not fully falling head over heels for it. I'm not mad at my eyes. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. If you've tried this palette out already, please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. But yeah, I'm gonna now love you and leave you. If you're new to my channel and you're just now stopping by, don't forget to subscribe. I upload twice a week and do videos like this all the time. I'm uploading on a Monday and a Thursday. If you'd like to, hit the red button down below and the little bell button, and that'll notify you when I upload next. And yeah, I hope I see you on the next one. Till then, bye guys. So loud. I hope everyone's okay, but it's so goddamn loud.